I've seen her overdose twice. On her bed, spazzing out, shit coming out of her mouth. It's terrifying. I see it when I go to sleep. I've been diagnosed with PTSD. I wake up in the night screaming, panicking, and I'm so grateful I have a girlfriend that's so patient with me and understands. Because when I close my eyes at night, yes, as much as I wouldn't say I hate my mum, I'm disappointed.
You just don't have anything to say.
It's just there isn't a word for it. So I miss her. I do. It's my mum. But I don't love her. And I could die happily not speaking to her again. But everything still bothers me. I still have nightmares to this day about my stepdad. And I'm 6'2", 6'3", 2 foot shoulder to shoulder. I know full well I can lay my stepdad flat. No problem. But he still terrifies the shit out of me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Ranside Podcast. I'm here today with a good friend of mine. It's been a very, very, very long time since we saw each other. He's gone even more sexier now. He's a fly motherfucker. And of course, he looks like a farmer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Cory Douglas, aka Doogie. How's it going, man?
It's me, Cornelius. Nice to see you, man.
It's been a very, very long time, man.
And you're looking amazing for the time.
Oh, man. You're making me gassed up, man.
As I said, man, you got that JoJo, like
that jawline and shit. Wait, I'm going to get even more buff. I know you're more sexy. Come on.
I'll be there soon, man. Gyms are open again now.
Exactly. So I think the most important question we have to ask, okay, because people want to know, I want to know, how are you?
How am I?
Yeah,
Well,
how are you, man?
these last 2 years have been like some of the worst years of like most people's lives. Probably.
I agree.
But they've probably
as well
been some of the best for me, I've got to be honest. And that's not because I hate other people's sadness. I love people's sadness.
Man,
I've been working on myself. And
I could tell because to a bit of context for the people, how much did you weigh before?
2019 September, I came out of a toxic relationship and I was about 26 to 27 stone. I think I was about to hit the 27 stones. And today, I am 15 stone, 10 pounds when I weighed myself this morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cory fucking Douglas, man.
So, I've gone from 48 jeans to 36. Bought these yesterday from Peacocks, 36. Feeling well good about it. I've gone
Looking
down
sexy as hell, man. Go on.
I love it. Like, I'm done dieting for now, but when I can get back into the gym, I'll be toning up, and hopefully by the end of the year, I'm going to be where I want to be with myself, my body, my mental state. So
you're fucking getting there, man.
Cheers, man.
Like, just seeing this guy when I knew this guy in secondary school, a bit of context, and like just seeing him grow from secondary school to now is like, it's a blessing. And a load of people,
I remember you. Like, little jelly bean.
I was small and thick as well. Not a good combination.
You're adorable,
man. I'm getting there, man.
You got like small and cute to big and sexy. It's like,
getting thick, come on, man. But Cory, today we're going to talk about family and just overall like well-being and mental health and all that kind of stuff. So define family for me. What does it mean?
See, to me, it's like family. I've got a big family. Like, people that are related to me, people that share the same blood. But half of them I don't see as, like, family. Like, I barely speak to them. They disrespect me. They talk about me when I ain't said anything about them. So it's like, nah. I think family are the people that are there. Like, they're just there when you need them. When you're at your lowest point, and they're there, even if it's, like, hard for them to be there for you, they're still there. Like my friend Omar, like we've been friends.
Shout Omar.
Omar. 14 years we've been friends since primary school. And like I see him as a brother to me, like a physical brother. And like I've got actual blood brothers and stuff that I don't even see as friends. So to me, family isn't who you're related to, like who you have mutual.
It's the
family.
bond between
it's
one
the
another.
Bond. It's the experience and just the respect and the relationship. Like, I've got people I would call my brother or my sister who I've not spoke to in years, but they're still, if they were to message me like, yeah, Cory, I need this, I need help, I need this thing doing, or I need you
got
here.
each other.
I'll be there, man. So you've been there for me when I needed
Exactly.
it. It's like,
because you don't have to speak to each other every single day.
Yeah, you won't.
Like, there are people, like, you can agree with this. There are people we ain't speak to in years, months.
Yeah, like,
but
me-
if
me
you,
and you-
yeah, that's a great example.
but damn, like, I don't hate you because we ain't spoke.
Exactly. We have our own life.
We do.
Obviously, I got all this shit going on and whatnot.
I'm well in-
It's like, yeah, I'm getting
proud
it,
of
man.
you.
Oh, bless her, man. Get me blushing over the shit. But, yeah, you don't have to speak to someone on a regular basis to have contact. To just be considered brothers and sisters. Yeah. So, in terms of your blood-related family, what happened? Like, why did they disrespect you? Is it like an image thing, or is it like a personality thing?
I don't know. There's so many different pools of my family. They're like different factions and clans. That's how I look at it. Like, there's the obvious stuff with my mum, which I'll get into soon enough, but there's like little bits, like little battles. Like, I have a cousin that I don't know, there's no reason for it. I've done nothing but treat her good, but by word of mouth, I've heard the things she's been saying about me, like, oh yeah, he's not even trying to look for a job. So I've been job hunting for the last few years, but with COVID, it's been
insanely difficult,
pretty hard. But like, oh yeah, he's not even losing weight. He's not even looking like it's a little thing, but
it builds up over time.
Yeah, it's the fact it's such a little thing. When I saw you as such a close relative, because I did see this person I'm speaking about as a close relative. I looked at her like my sister at one point, not my cousin. And for her, like, to hear these things without justification, I know like there's two sides to every story, and I know I might have accidentally done something, but I wouldn't have gone out my way to cause any problems. So it's that I just cut myself off from that sort of stuff,
because you don't need that energy.
No, you don't, especially when I've had, like, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I've been through a fair bit of, like, I don't know if you have to swear on here.
So go swear as much as you want.
Of
Fuck
shit,
bitch.
Over malarkey. Like, I've been through, like,
barnacles.
I have dolphin noise.
Man.
No, I've been through a fair bit of shit, and the last thing I need is such petty drama ruining my day. So why have it ruin my day when I can just cut you out and not have to worry about it in the future?
I completely agree
Like,
with that. I relate to that insanely.
As long as I've still got my close circle of friends and my loving girlfriend at the end of the day, you know, I'm the happiest man alive, man. Like, simple as.
Exactly that, man. And was it difficult, though, distance? Because people say, oh, yeah, but family's forever and whatnot. Was it difficult to cut them out?
It depends on who. And I'll talk about my mum now. Cutting out my cousin, nah, not a problem. Don't care. At the end of the day, they're going to have to pay me to fix their phone in the future. But I've had to cut my mum out of my life, which hurt. Being a mummy's boy all of my life, I always preferred my mum over my dad. My dad was never around. He was in and out of prison. Didn't want to be around me. The bloke I saw as my dad growing up, he died in 2009, like in his sleep. And I later grew up to find out it was drug-related. And this is the big problem with my mum. It's drugs. So, cutting my mum out of my life, it took... Where normal people, I'll cut you out within an hour. Like, I'll just change my mind about you, then not talk to you.
Yeah, we're split.
With my mum, it was a constant battle, which I've only just finished. Like, 2 years ago, I put the nail in the coffin, and I cut the last thread holding our relationship together. All throughout primary school, secondary school, college, to 2 years ago, I'd been fighting, not to cut her off, but to pull her in and have that relationship. But I had to cut her off for my own sake at the end, because it was either I'm going to go down or I'm going to lose my mum. And I'm sorry, but I chose to lose my mum. As selfish as I might appear, let me put it in context for you. So, growing up, my life was a bit unique.
Yeah, I remember in secondary school, you kind of mentioned glimpses of it.
Yeah,
but I never got the big picture.
It was hard to talk about it, so I didn't understand it. But now I'm a mature adult. I'm 21.
A mature, sexy adult.
I now know everything. I've fought for myself. Like, with my brain, I've not let anyone think for me, and I've came to my conclusion myself. And she was taking drugs. I'll put it as it is. It's a story I'm comfortable talking about, so I'll talk about it.
And thank you for that.
Like,
I really appreciate it.
She was addicted to crack and heroin, and probably a few other things that I don't know about, but I remember, like, you know, walking around my house, coming downstairs in the morning to go to school, like primary, secondary school, and there'll be a person I don't know on my sofa, back room, person I don't know on the sofa as well. I've got nowhere to sit. There's no food in the house. There never is. She has
secondary
boyfriend, Steve, and I'm pretty sure I'd spoke to you about this during
secondary school days.
He weren't nice to me. He abused me physically, mentally. Like, never sexually, thank God. But, like, physically, mentally, which was quite bad. But then the fact, in my eyes, not only is he hurting me, not only is he doing what he's doing, but he's took my mum from me. Like, I'm a mummy's boy, and this man's came into my life literally soon after the bloke who I saw as my dad died. This man comes in to take his spot, but then treats me with such disrespect and hatred for when the bloke he's trying to replace was a saint to me.
Yeah.
Like, the bloke I saw he was my uncle Colin. I saw him as my dad for a very long time, and as a kid, I had no reason not to. But growing up, knowing that he was, the main pressure on my mum to start taking these drugs, I've got this constant battle now, like, man, he was good to me and I loved him as a dad, but should I love him for what he's done to my mum? So it's just snowballed to where she is now, with my stepdad abusing me. I've got my mum neglecting me, no food in the house at all. Like, I was grateful to have the friends I had in secondary school, like you and Omar. So I remember, like, you would give me a bag of crisps or a chocolate bar or something, and to you, that's probably nothing. But to me, that means I'll get to eat that day. And I was a chunky kid. Like, people were looking like, yeah, he's not starving. But, like,
people just don't understand the struggle, you know? Yeah.
It sucked. It really sucked. But Omar, his mum, like, she didn't want me to know this at the time, but Omar's mum was like, she used to pack me lunch, which I knew anyway, which melted my heart back then. But to know she went the extra step she got my free school meals sorted and everything. And she didn't tell me that. Omar didn't tell me that. And I went home and thanked my mum, and my mum took all the, like, credit for it. I was like, damn. But I was like, to have them friends to, like, help me for that sort of thing, it's really what got me through them years, which was like the worst years of my life. But now my mum, so I keep getting off topic, it's just a hard thing to construct,
because it's a big
it is a big thing, and it branches out to so many things. But no, my mum, I had to cut her out. It was physically killing me, holding on to such a loveless relationship, because she didn't care about me. She only cared about my child benefits. And I moved out when I was 15, and I wish I moved out sooner, because I remember in primary school when I was getting thrown about, you know, I'm like a 10-year-old kid, I'm being thrown about by this fully grown man, being thrown down the stairs, choked, punched, like anything you can think of. I finally grew the balls to talk to someone. This was the first ever time I spoke to someone, and I remember I went up to my teacher assistant, Mrs. Brown, I remember her, and I tell her, and I don't think she knew how to react, because she grabbed me by the arm and dragged me to, like, the counsellor, Mrs. Adams. I remember her as well. And she told me to tell Miss Adams what I've just said. So I told her everything. I didn't know about the drugs at this age, because when you're raised around it, it's normal. Waking up every morning, seeing your mum, like, take crack and heroin, like, through her little handmade bongs and stuff, like, it's normal to you. You've not been in anyone else's life to see it's any different. But the abuse was something I knew shouldn't be happening. So I told them about the abuse. So they called my mum in at the end of the day, and my mum denied it all. Like, she told me, I don't know why he's saying that. His stepdad's not hitting him and everything. So the one time I tried to stand up for myself and get the help I needed, the woman who birthed me into this world, who's meant to protect me and love me and give me all the support that I need, just went completely against all of that. Like, told everyone I was a liar. Like, it made me feel so cornered. I can't go to my school because they think I'm just lying now. I don't want to talk to my friends because it's not something you talk to, like, your friends about when you're that age. You don't want to be like,
it's like how we don't know what empathy is. Like, how do we listen and help you out?
It put me in such a shit spot. And it was a spot I never got out of because I never, ever went to school again expecting help. So I just assumed the same thing will happen. They will just turn their back on me when I needed them. Like, in secondary school, this is when I came across my self-harm problem. I was cutting, I was punching myself, I was using rulers and coins, scraping my knuckles, and I
remember you mentioned that a little bit in secondary school.
Yeah, I was pulled out of class a few times to, like, speak about it, and they asked about my home life, but you don't want to talk about your home life because the last time you tried, you had the door shut on your face, and, you know, you were shamed for it. I went home, and I was told I was in the wrong for it, and it only got worse from there, so I don't want to say anything, make my situation worse, just for nothing to happen. So no, like, from that day, like, I tried nothing but to win my mum over. Like, I tried to win her love, tried to prove to myself I'm worth more than the child benefit she was getting.
Plus, you only, as corny as it sounds, you only get one mother at the end of the day.
And it boils my blood when people say, Cory, you can't hate your mum, it's your mum. I fucking will. Watch me, I'll do it, and I'll look good while I'm doing it. Thank you.
Yeah, you do look good, basically.
Yes, man. Like, at the end of the day, I was a mummy's boy, and I loved my mum. And I do say loved in past tense, because, quite honestly, I don't care anymore. Like, I fought so many years. She was like, yeah, like, I told her I was going to move out at the age of 14. No, give me another chance. We'll start, like, going counselling. You can come with me to my spring house appointments, which was basically appointments she had to prove she wasn't on drugs, but she would pay me or my sister to pee in cups for her, so she'll pass her drug test.
Yeah.
Like, you get your kids to do that. I've grabbed her drugs for her. And I remember the specific instructions she told me. Grab it, but pinch it by the corner. Do not touch the white stuff. It can affect you through your skin. I was 13.
And she told
me that.
To do that.
Like, the things I've seen her do, the things she's done to me, and people expect me to still love my mama. I've seen her overdose twice. On her bed, spazzing out, shit coming out of her mouth. It's terrifying. I see it when I go to sleep. I've been diagnosed with PTSD. I wake up in the night screaming, panicking, and I'm so grateful I have a girlfriend that's so patient with me and understands. Because when I close my eyes at night, yes, as much as I wouldn't say I hate my mum, I'm disappointed.
You just don't have anything to say.
It's just there isn't a word for it. So I miss her. I do. It's my mum. But I don't love her. And I could die happily not speaking to her again. But everything still bothers me. I still have nightmares to this day about my stepdad. And I'm like, I'm 6'2", 6'3", 2 foot shoulder to shoulder. I know full well I can lay my stepdad flat. No problem. But he still terrifies the shit out of me.
It's just the mental side.
I'm not scared of a lot of things, but I am terrified of him. And no matter how much of a man I think I am, the last time I confronted him, which was only about 2.5 years ago, I panicked, I stiffed up, I was scared. That was no way to put it on. I was scared. So it still gets me to this day, and having nightmares about, you know, your mum overdosing, like being in that house again. It was horrible. I needed to cut her out because I've mentioned self-harm before, but there's also suicide. Like, I've considered it, and I'll be lying if I said I haven't attempted it.
What? It's a personal question, but what age did you try to...
The first time I tried, I was about 13. And that's not an age. Like, someone don't want to be alive enough to proceed and try and cut yourself that deep. It's a bit, you know... And my mum played victim when I told her when I was moving out. When I showed her all these cuts, which I hid from her for a year. What type of mum don't notice a sleeve of scars...
From a young boy.
From a young boy for over a year. Like... But no, like... It baffles me the way her head works. She isn't like me. to me, family and friends are massive to me. Easily one of my top 3 priorities in life, family and friends. But to her, it's not. It's drugs, money, boyfriend, food, and probably family.
Yeah.
To me, I wasn't shit. I was just another aspect to get her drugs. Just money each week. That's all
just
I
an
was.
asset, basically.
I was just a fan for what is it, like 30 quid every 2 weeks or something. That's all I was worth. So
completely respect that decision.
Like, I cut her out. I moved out at the end of during secondary school, towards the end of the year. I moved out.
Like year 10, year 11-ish.
I think it was about year 11, just the start of year 11. I literally packed my backpack, my laptop, and I walked out. I never came back. And I've not been back to this day.
Dang.
And she said, oh yeah, nah, he'll come back. It's been
5 years?
It's been about 6 years.
6 years.
6 or 7 years. And I've still not came back. And I'm never coming back. Because I moved in with my auntie.
Yeah.
And she ended up kicking me out because she couldn't afford to support me. My mum was refusing to give child benefits over. We weren't going to get involved in the social because they've done nothing but shoot me in the foot. Like, so my auntie ended up kicking me out as well. The one safe place I had. And I was homeless. Well, where do I go? And my saint of a nan, bless her, we didn't have a close relationship. But she offered me to come live with her. And I didn't want to. Because she's just retired. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, she wants to live out her days chilling, not looking after a kid. But no, I ended up moving in with my nan. But I sometimes think, where would I be if my nan weren't there?
At what age did you move in with your nan?
I was about 15.
15, all within that?
Yeah. I was literally only at my auntie's for a few months before she kicked me out.
Yeah.
And I don't blame my auntie for that at all. I love my auntie to bits.
It's just financial reasons.
It's just financial. Yeah. I will never blame her for that. At the time, I was angry. Yeah. But that was because I was confused. But my auntie's turned out brilliant. And I still see it. I visit her once a week. I love her.
The relationship's still strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's good.
But now I do think about it a lot, where I would be if my nan couldn't take me in. So I've cut my mum off. My dad's homeless because my dad was living at my auntie's with me at the time. And she kicked them out as well. So I would either have gone to care, lived with my dad, which he didn't have a house to live in, so I doubt I would have.
Yeah.
Or I would have took my own life, which was another thing I was considering. Because I would rather die than go and be trapped in that house again. It's the amount of times I've tried to escape, and the one time I got out, I had to go back. It would just be an endless loop in my head I will forever be stuck in. Even though eventually, realistically, I would grow up, I would get a job, and I would move out. But no, I'm so grateful.
I'm grateful you're here, man.
I am. Things turn out the way they did for a reason, I think. I've got an absolutely lovely girlfriend. I've sorted out my weight. I'm working on my mental state. I'm on medication.
You've got
now.
A support group as well.
Yeah, I've got so much support. And I've got so many good friends and family. I've been in college for 3 years. My mental problems were so bad back then. My first day of college, I wasn't going to go in. I was just going to drop out before I even stepped foot in it because my anxiety was that bad.
Yeah.
But now look at me. I'm sitting there in a podcast.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy.
That is fucking growth, man.
But yeah, sorry for branching off like that.
Oh, no,
As I said, it started to stretch or something like that. But cutting out my mum, it was hard. But
it was a decision that
it needed to
be made.
And I do not regret it. I remember sending her a message. The tipping point, this will be the last point I'll make about it. The tipping point, me and my sister were trying very hard to get custody of my little brother and sister. Get them out of the house. They're barely clothed. There's never food. The house is disgusting. It's got its own, fog from the amount of shit they smoke. We wanted to get them kids out, not to spite my mum, but to make sure them kids have a childhood.
Yeah.
They're my brother and sister, and as much as I see my stepdad in them, I love them. They're my little brother and sister, and I will do anything I can to protect them. So we tried to get custody of them, and our plan was get evidence of her doing drugs, give it to the social, bada bing, bada boom, we have our brother and sister.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't go like that. I remember rocking up to the door, I had a hidden GoPro, black jacket and everything. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get evidence of her, taking drugs and shit. And this is when I last encountered my stepdad as well. Well, I mentioned I froze up and everything. So my sister was like, me and my sister were going. She was like, yeah, we need to get into the house. We need to find some of the bongs, just show them. It was this really badly put together plan. And she was like, yeah, if Steve starts playing up, you need to sort it out. And I was like, yeah, I'll sort him out. I'm big and tough. But no, I pissed my pants, man. I pissed my pants. So my mum just ended up standing outside talking to us. And we got something that was slightly out of context, which was about the drugs on camera. It was like, yeah, I don't do it around the kids no more, but I think he does. And I still have the video clip. But they refused to accept it because my mum did not know I was recording.
So there's literally the evidence is right there.
I'm like, yeah. So she's just admitted they're smoking crack and heroin around kids. But because I didn't say, yeah, mum, do you just go to the camera for me so I can get custody of the kids, please?
Man,
that was the tipping point. After that day, she was like, she played victim, and this was. I wanted to believe it so hard. I wanted to believe, as bad as it is to say she was in a bad spot, I wanted to believe Steve was being Steve, how he was to her, which he never was when I was about, but she was saying he was hitting her, he was saying all this stuff. But she was just saying that so we didn't get angry at her. He ain't done any of that because we gave her the choice. We're like, yeah, you can come to my nan's for the weekend, pack some stuff, bring the kids. We're going to get some people together and we will remove Steve from that house physically and he will not come back in. We aren't going to kill him or anything. We're just going to fucking, get him out of the house, tell him to fuck off. But no, she kept coming up with excuses and excuses. And at the end of the day, it was because he was enabling her to do drugs still. So ultimately, she still, after losing me and my sister moved out years before I did because of the same reason, drugs. I moved out because of drugs and abuse. She has not learned a lesson. She still fought for the drugs. So I messaged her. It was October of 2019. No? Yeah. Was it 2018? It was a few years ago. And I told her, look, I've seen the choice you make and I'm not going to say anything about it. I told her, I just can't believe you've played victim this long and expect me to feel sorry for you when you never felt sorry for me when I was screaming your name for help when your boyfriend was beating me in the next room. And I know that's heavy as fuck. And okay, maybe I do regret the bit where I told her to just overdose and die already, because at the end of the day, she is a victim in some sorts. I know drugs ain't something you can just pick and choose to come off. But it's just so frustrating. I don't see her as a victim anymore, because she's been given so many golden tickets out of that situation, which I know plenty of other people would have happily done for their kids.
But she still is in that same position.
But she is... Fuck her.
Man, it's the growth.
I've not looked back. I've never looked back and thought, yeah, that was a bit harsh, I should message her. The only thing I think about when it comes to her is, when I have kids, do I tell her? But no, I'm just going to let that word of mouth get to her, because she ain't...
Yeah.
I don't agree with cutting your kids off for someone because of personal feud, but I think her taking drugs is a good enough excuse not to have my kids around her. I don't want my kids getting ill or anything. The house isn't something I want them around. They don't do any safety checks. They have a rigged... I don't know if you ever had one growing up, but you know how you put electric in your house? You have that little key fob thing. You go to the shop, top it up. They have a rigged one of them where they never have to top it up, which we tried to get them in shit for as well, but we couldn't. But they have a rigged one of them. The boiler is, if the boiler sprung a leak, carbon monoxide, they're not going to do anything about it. Yeah. Because I remember when I was a baby, I nearly died because carbon monoxide poisoning in my house.
After all that, man, I take a breather.
I don't even know what I've said.
That's a lot to take. It's the crazy thing is, it's I was in class with you, and I didn't know a single thing.
No one did. Even my closest friends at the time, Omar and Jack.
Yeah,
because I didn't even know what was the abuse. Yeah, and I mentioned the abuse to some people. But the drugs were still something I didn't fully understand, and I still thought was pretty normal. Why would I think otherwise? It was only when I started to hang around Jack a lot more and like seeing his wonderful, beautiful family, big, lovely house, I started to think like,
wait a second, like,
wait a minute, why haven't I got this? Why do none of my parents drive? Why haven't I got new clothes? And why haven't I got food in the house?
Yeah, man.
But no, like,
it
was a mess.
Sometimes I do wish I can go back and help you somehow. Like, I know what's done is done, but
I know
it's just...
It's a weird thing to say, but I wouldn't want to. Because as much as, like, that is still, like, a large portion of myself I completely despise about myself, all of that stuff I went through...
led you to who you are today.
It led me, like, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm an amazing person, but I'm definitely stronger than I used to be.
You're amazing to me.
Thanks, baby cakes. But, like, nah, it's really formed me, and it's gave me so much... How do I put it without sounding like I'm trying to suck my own dick?
It built character, and it allowed you to...
I've got wisdom. I've got experience. So when I've got a girlfriend, which I'm sorry I'm going to mention it, she hasn't got the best home life, I understand that. I can relate to that, and I can support that. I know what she wants, and I know what she needs, and I give it to her. And we've been together a year and 2 months, nearly 3 months, I think. Like,
and the fact that you've been through that struggle, your story and your experiences, because obviously wisdom is knowledge and experience combined together, and the fact that you got both, so you went through that experience, but you never got consumed by that experience like most people would.
There were points I thought it would have, and that would have been...
But you didn't. Yeah, at the end of the day, man.
I'd rather it have been me than anyone else, especially someone I cared about. I'd rather it be me thrown about than my little brother or my little sister. They've both got their own disabilities as well, which would have made it 10 times worse. Bless their souls. I can't wait I might see him in a few weeks to go shopping with him. I'm dead excited about it. Played Minecraft together the other week. House building competition, I whipped their ass.
Man,
it was great.
It's just, you've been, because you mentioned attempting to take your own life at 13. Funny you mention that, or it's not funny, but it's interesting you mention that. It's not funny, but interesting you mention that, because that was the same year. Because like your birthday is November 30th.
Thank you for remembering. Look at you,
man. But like around 2013, it was like when I tried to, like, on the top floor of my house. I'm not sure if it would have taken my own life, but it definitely would have left me paralyzed in some way. Because I was going through so much pain in secondary school.
I remember you mentioning you were going through like struggles with... It was your family, mainly.
Yeah. Because it's like religion was involved, and it's like they never understood at all. Because all a child ever wants was to be loved.
Oh, amen to that. Like,
that's it. Like, I mentioned this in a previous episode with Georgia. Shout out Georgia. A suicidal person, they don't care about money, they don't care about they just want someone that will listen to them. That is it. But a load of people, they just, obviously, what's worse is not just not listening, but it's like if someone dismisses how you feel. So if you're like, I'm feeling a bit down or whatnot, people are like, yeah, we'll just get over it.
Yeah.
But what does that mean? Like, getting over it, like, when will this pain stop? Because, like, trying to take on life at 13, like, people that are born in a great household, they can't comprehend that, because when I told them, like, I tried to take my own life at this age, they're like, but how? I'm like, what do you mean, but how? It's like, because but you're a kid, like, how can you think about these thoughts? And it's what happens because I know you went through way more struggle than me, because a load of your struggle was external, but a load of my struggles was internal. So it's the way I saw things, because obviously religion messed my mind. Nothing to do the culture messed my mind up, not religion. The people around me and this expectation of being this perfect brown boy, this Muslim boy, and not me falling completely flat at all, and just being a complete failure as well. Like, obviously, someone like you won't see me as a failure.
No, man.
But they would.
Glowing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, a little bit. But they'll see me as a complete failure. And this is a question I'm about to ask you, but from my end, you might think, but why would you keep going with your life? Why didn't you just you could have just ended it and it would have been done, right? I don't want any other, not in any other person, but any other brown person to go through what I had to go through.
Yeah.
Because being in that mosque and everyone looking at you and hating on you and saying all these names and whatnot, being the white boy amongst these brown folks. And then in school, you know, I wasn't the most popular kid. You know, people didn't really like me either. You was a very rare, like a lottery ticket, like a winning lottery ticket. Thanks. But I've in the household as well. You know, I didn't have anyone to look up to, and my brother didn't really treat me well either. Like, he never really physically abused me, but mentally he messed me up big time because he'll just use me to get what he wants. For example, like, he'll not bribe me, he'll convince my father to buy new games and shit. You know, something as simple as that, and it's just a mess. But I don't want the reason why I do this, to share stories, to express, you know, for people to express themselves, because how many more years do you have to keep going till we reduce the amount of suicides, because that shit's rising up. Pandemic obviously didn't help.
Since COVID, I'm pretty sure it's Japan, there's been more deaths by suicide than COVID.
Exactly, and it hurts just seeing so many people taking their life, and a lot of the times I can't do anything about it because they're from Japan. How do I reach these people, you know? And I built this, obviously, Renaissance was made to escape my reality, basically. I hate being Azamir, like, completely. I hate that shit. To reinvent myself, to rebuild myself.
You've made your own character.
To save Azamir from all that trouble, because, you know, I would have ended up dead if it wasn't for Renaissance, you know. And I want to keep building this to make sure that people like yourself, you know, obviously, the more money I get, the more I can go into, like, building, like, community centers and all that kind of shit.
It's beautiful.
And, like, I just want to help as many people as I can't have anyone else go through what we've been through. Yeah. Because that kind of, even though that pain builds character, it's one of those things where, like, if you expect a kid to go into a forest and make it to the other side, 9 times out of 10, that motherfucker's not getting to the other side, you know, he's going to be mauled by a bear or some shit. But why, at a young age especially, what made you want to keep going? Like, why would you keep going? What inspired you to keep going?
It was just the fact I was scared. Like, there's no other way to put it. I was scared of hurting myself. I did it anyway. I hurt myself, but to the extent where it was going to take my life. I'm trying to think deeply about it, because back then I'm trying to think, because these days I think about what I hold close and what the future's going to bring. Mm-hmm. But back then, I don't know. I think it must have just been me seeing better days ahead. I was still a kid. There was still, you know, chance to find love, move on. Like, there was a vague belief that my problems today will not be a problem in my future. And as kind of true as that is, these problems I've been through will forever be with me. I've told you I've got PTSD. I'll forever have nightmares and panic attacks because of what I went through. But back then, just anything was better than that. And just knowing that in 10 years' time, I think that's probably what kept me going. Like, that, and the only 2 things of value I had were my 2 cats. And if I weren't going to look after them, no one was. And as silly as it is, when you're 13 or that age, you don't hold on to things. Well, you hold on to the wrong things a bit too much. And my cats were great. They did die when I moved out. Like, I knew they would. That's why I wanted to carry on. But no, it's just the thought of, you never know what the future's going to bring. And God, tell me 2 years ago that I was going to be nearly half the body weight I was in a different relationship, and, you know, I've got a ponytail and a beard.
And recording a podcast.
Because my relationship I came out of, you're not allowed a ponytail. Oh yeah, if you have a beard, I ain't going to kiss you. Now look at me, I'm in a healthier relationship, got a beard, got the ponytail I wanted. Oh, man bun. It's wacky. Like, it's the little things, but they add up. And to know that in another 2 to 3 years, I might even have my own kid. And I know most people my age are like, oh God, yeah, kids. I would love to have a kid.
The same. Same.
If I had the money, the job, and the place for it, my relationship, we've only been together a year, so it wouldn't be just yet anyway. And she's 18, I don't want to lie. I mean, I'm only 21. But, no, there's a time and a place for it, but no, I look forward to being the dad I never had. I know, like, there's a whole meme out there like, oh yeah, I'm not going to fuck up like my parents did, then it's a whole new level of fucked up.
Yeah.
No, I generally look forward to it. And
I think you'll be a great father, man.
Thanks, man. You too.
Man, it's just... Because, obviously, we both lived on struggle, whilst other people lived on love. So, when they have a kid, or when they have kids, and their child is struggling, they don't know how to help that child, you know, or the children. But when our children struggle, I speak to our children like, we're going to have a baby.
I mean, if you're offering...
Take the door, turn the cameras on. But man, like, when we have children, it's just... And, for example, if, like, your child's going through the struggle, my child's feeling, and, you know, God forbid that, feeling suicidal or depressed, then we know what it's like. You know, we can not only comfort them, but guide them in the right path, you know, and instead of like them ending up in the hamster wheel, you know, feeling sorry for themselves. And fucking hell, like, this is a conversation for me, okay? Man, but I fucking love it. This is what the podcast is all about, man. And sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying that links into one of your questions, but finish what you're saying, then I'll get into that, like the families of love. And
it's like, because I never had, I know I mentioned in Peace on Our Lesson, my last Renaissance film, I never had a fatherly figure, you know. I mean, I can call my dad if I want to, message him, but he'll probably just end up patronizing me, saying, oh, you know, are you fasting? And saying, oh, you're not a real Muslim, and all that kind of stuff. But I never had a proper, like my mother, we never had a proper relationship. It was like it wasn't like your relationship with your mother. It was nothing was there at all. And when I tried to, like, you know, say something, you know, say, oh, you know, how are you, or talk about my mental well-being, patronizing. And people wonder, why didn't you just speak to her? It's like, I kind of did before. I don't want to go for that same thing again.
So that's one thing I can never do. My kids can do they can, Dad, I'm trans. Dad, I want to be this gender. Dad, I like this gender. Dad, I want to be this. Like, you support your kids, man. They're your kids. They're your flesh and blood. They are a mini you that you need to build. Block by block.
It's like a Minecraft character.
I know, man. Like, I can't wait to teach my kid funny swear words and stuff. But like, I just can't wait to teach him that they're allowed to feel the way they're feeling. They can believe what they want to believe. And I know it's different from me coming from like a white atheist family. We don't believe in any religion. And coming from an actual family with religion, I know it's two completely different ball games. But in my head, like, each person is their own individual being, and that gives them the right to do whatever they want, not necessarily say whatever they want, there's certain naughty words, but like, just be who you want to be. And there's nothing wrong with that in my eyes. Like, there's one thing I've said to my girlfriend: if our kids end up being pedos, that is the one thing I will not. That's one thing. No. You can't justify that, but you can. In my opinion, you can justify murder, or you can justify.
Because what if, like, you have to kill someone to save someone that you love? Yeah.
Or okay, I've had very unhealthy thoughts about my stepdad. Yes, I have thought very deeply about going to his house and stomping his skull in. And in my eyes, that might be justified for what he's done to me and my family. But it's still murder. Like,
man, do you think, because obviously your mum went through all that kind of stuff, do you think it was intergenerational trauma, so passed down onto her, or did you think it started from her?
It started from her. Because I'll link it into one of your questions, because one of the questions is something along the lines of, do your family actually, like, think about your mental health?
Yeah.
But no, my nan goes on about it all the time because my nan blames herself. So I live with my mum's mum. She blames herself for how her daughters turn out, my mum. But it ain't. My mum was raised in a functional household. Both parents were working. They were bringing in good money. She went to a private school.
Private school?
It was that good.
Fucking hell.
I know. I was shocked as well. And my crackhead mum went to a fucking private school.
Man.
Oh, with Malcolm Arnold. I'm not even taking drugs.
Man.
But, no, she had so much. I would have killed to have her upbringing. And she's turned out the way she is. It's not how the parents are, not all the time. Because, how your parents treat you can definitely affect you. But it isn't always. It's the individual's thoughts as their own person and the people they hang around with. As I said, my mum's, the bloke that raised me and my uncle, he isn't blood uncle, but he was close to the family uncle. That was my mum's first proper love. She was hanging out with him. He was taking drugs. She starts taking drugs. That is no fault of my nan. My nan is a saint. But then you look at me. Both my parents done drugs. Me and my dad have a great relationship now, but back in the day, he was doing he was just as bad with the drugs. But I don't think I'm a terrible person. I mean, okay, I've done a few things in life that I'm not necessarily proud of, and
because everyone has a chapter that they don't want to read out loud.
Yeah.
That's
I try to be an open book about my problems and my past because it helps me feel better about myself as much as it sounds like some anime story. But no, the way your family is should not affect you as you are as an individual person. And I think my mum and me are a fine example of that. My mum being raised in such a household of love, money, just a normal household. And then me coming, and she comes out dysfunctional. Then a dysfunctional household producing me, which, I'm pretty dysfunctional. I have anxiety, depression. I'm being checked for bipolar. I'm being checked for borderline personality disorder. I've got therapy on Thursday. PTSD, spicy dreams, I call them. But... no, I like to think I've came out as a decent person.
100%. More than a decent person. You're underselling yourself like a motherfucker. Come on.
But, no, the household don't matter. But it really helps when they understand the problem. And that was a beautiful gateway. That transition to your next question. I'm proud of that.
Man, because... Sorry, what were you going to say?
You go, sorry.
Man, I was just going to say, because obviously knowing you from secondary school, how would you, if you only had 2 minutes to speak to your secondary school self, say, I don't know, when you're 15, 16 years old, say during the time you were homeless, right? What would you say, present Cory right now, to homeless Cory back then, in year 11? What would you say? If you only had, a minute, 2 minutes to speak to them, what would you say?
I don't know, I'll probably call him fat. Yeah, you're right, you fat cunt. Keep your chin up, mate. You end up with a pretty good beard, and you do get your ponytail. Now, I would definitely tell him to keep his chin up. And considering what past Cory had to go through, he's doing an exceptional job. Yeah, I failed my GCSEs. Yeah, I wasn't popular. Yeah, I wasn't attractive. But I'm alive and breathing. When there's some people out there that went through similar things that probably ain't breathing. You're a survivor and you're a fighter. Even if you don't see it, you've done good. And I'm proud, not of myself, but of the past myself, because he was a tough son of a bitch. Because now I've came out of all of that and I'm a bit more normalised. I still have my problems. If I was to be launched back into that situation, I probably won't take it as good. So just keep your chin up, buddy. Better days are ahead. The sun will always rise tomorrow. That's how I would put it. Dang. I'll give him a hug. £2, go get some Pringles.
Man, I'll join in the group hug, man. For me and my year 11-year-old self, man. Man, there's so much to dissect, with what you said. And that's the beautiful thing as well, because you've been through all these hardships when you're before the age of fucking 21. Most people, they don't go through that kind of struggle in several lifetimes.
Oh no, and
let
it
alone
bothers
within
me
5,
knowing the
10
hard
years.
bits still to come, and
Yeah.
he's got a house, and need to pay
Yeah.
bills, and family. Like, I've already had it on hard mode. Like, change the difficulty, please.
Oh,
like,
man.
oh my god.
Some people are living on fucking recruit mode. Like,
man.
I mean,
Born
they're like,
into a
oh man,
millionaire
life is so
family.
hard. But
Oh
man.
my god, I would love to see one of these millionaires like try and live how I did, eating cold tins of soup,
Oh, fucking
dumpster diving. That was fun.
man, you dumpster dived.
Me and my mum used to do it, man.
Fucking hell.
Just go around the back, Kingsthorpe front, around all the back of like Heron Foods and Asda, and 9 times out of 10 it would just be boxes and rubbish. You would have guessed, but every now and then I get a sandwich.
Oh, yes, I wish.
Mental.
Man. It's fucking. Do you think you'll ever forgive? Not really forgive her, but like in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, never ever.
She had her chance, and now I've tried to blossom by myself. I have no reason to do it. What do I get from it? Yeah, it'll be lovely to have my mum. Like, telling my kids, yeah, let's go to Nanny Karen's, like, and that's her name, Karen. Very typical. Yeah, it's in the dream world, maybe, but very realistically, she will always be addicted to drugs.
What if she gets clean? I know it's like win the lottery.
Even then, I can't. It hurt me so much going through what I did to even consider putting myself in that situation again. Being a mummy's boy, as I said, having no dad around, even though he is around now, thank fuck, I do love him. I couldn't, because it would break me if anything did happen to that relationship again. It's not because I necessarily hate her, because I don't hate her. But I don't hate myself enough to go through that again. So I will never, ever forgive her. And I could die tomorrow happily knowing that I've not spoke to her. And as shitty as it is to sound, like if you were to tell that to someone like purely out of context, like, yeah, I don't want to talk to my mum, I'll die happy if I never talk to her again. Like, yeah, it would suck. But it's
But
like,
they need to know the context of the situation. That's the thing.
I've had people say it to me so many times, you can't hate your mum.
But yeah, it's like you don't get the pain. Like it's like if they went through a day in your shoes back then, it's like would they even survive?
But I relate so much. Like I remember fangirling to you about Eminem all the time.
Yeah.
And that's because songs like cleaning out my closet, I relate to so much.
Yeah.
And it will forever be in my mind lyrical art because it just pictures so much of my childhood, and just. That's another thing that kept me going back then, knowing someone else has been through a very similar thing. Yeah, he's a celebrity with millions of dollars now.
But obviously
but
back
he
then,
went through that.
Yeah.
And I'm going through similar things. And if he can do it, I can do it.
Exactly. That is beautiful.
Amen. Eminem. Like,
Shut up, man. Hopefully you'll be on the podcast on that. That's, yeah.
But, like his song Headlights.
Way forgives, yeah.
It really gets to me. It used to, like, on my
literally same here. I cried to it like 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
It did. It used to set me off so much. But I don't cry these days. I can't. As edgy as it is to say, it's so hard for me to cry. But that song used to proper get me, like...
Yeah.
It makes me think, like, what if I do talk to her and forgive her? Do I get my happily ever after? But
sometimes it doesn't work that way.
I can't. For myself and for my future family and for my current family, I refuse. I've put my foot down. I'm not doing it.
Yes. And it's cool that you mentioned Eminem as well. Like, the power of, like, people underestimate the power of art and how it can help people.
How many forms it comes in.
Exactly, like music, film, paintings, books, all that kind of stuff. And it's incredible that you relate to it as well, because obviously I don't, some of it, like when it comes to drug-related songs, I don't relate to, obviously. I like to appreciate the talent, how the emotion behind it, etc. It's also the reason why I do what I do. It's like a load of people, man, like, they just message me saying, like, thank you for saying this about our community, for the brown community, because we've been stuck in this rut for God knows how long. And obviously with someone like yourself, relating to art, us artists, like I'm a filmmaker, I'm not a musician, but us artists, we do the shit for you.
And
it's like
your YouTube video.
Yeah, peace out. Yeah, I saw your comment.
I was amazed. I remember showing it to like Omar and like some other friends. Like, look at this guy, because it baffles me. And I'm not just saying it because I'm on your podcast. Yeah. I have said it so many times. This guy put so much time and effort.
9 months.
More effort than any other like PewDiePie. No disrespect to PewDiePie, but you put so much. You can tell how much love and emotion is in that video.
Man,
and it's so hard to not admire. Just God, man, you're slaying it. You're killing it. Like
that was me 2 years ago as well. Like right now,
and I know you're working on another thing. You're getting an outfit and everything together, aren't you? Like,
look. I think I'm getting like a little maid. I'm not sure. You follow my private account, don't you?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because you like my post. Yes, yeah. We're looking. But yeah, I'm just like, I've been working on this next project since December 2019. And like, I got, so obviously the guy that you saw, he was a cinematographer. Yeah. He's got like this massive camera. It's the same camera used to film The Social Network. Right. Which is by David Fincher, or Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. I'm not sure if you've seen
I've heard
of those films. Yeah. So yeah, he's got that same camera and made my next film. If you thought that was amazing,
I'm excited for it,
I'm about to make sure the next films are Yeah, it's got to go
Get the
crazy.
Popcorn ready.
Yeah, man, it's just we do this shit for you, man. Like,
and I
it's people like you who really like. When I made that film, a bit of context, I remember I woke up at around April 25th. And like I had a rough night out. A load of things happened that night, and I was so angry that I failed to take my own life. Because I was gonna jump off a building and take my own life. But it's just moments like that where you wake up, having as the days go by, you look back at it and think, you know what? I'm kind of glad that I tried to take my own life because I built my character, and I can use that to help other people make sure that they don't go down the same path. But we do, like, it took 9 months to make and create. I'm very fucking grateful you saw it and seeing all these kind of words, man. And the crazy thing is, it's like, when I released it, I was like, this is good, but I could do better. That's my mindset. I can always do better.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
That's not a bad, yeah.
But God, it was amazing.
Like, man,
and that's another thing Eminem said. He was like, it's like, it was Walk on Water, I think the song was called. It was like trying to constantly outdo yourself, to constantly improve. Writing down a song, or in your case, one of these projects or these films, and then constantly trying to up it when it's already like a flawless masterpiece. When it comes to your end of it being a flawless masterpiece, how do you make a flawless masterpiece better?
Man, like, so fucking grateful. Like, truly. Like, to you, to the people, like, man, like, I could have been dead years ago. Like, when I was in year 9, I could have been dead back then.
I'm grateful you're not. Like,
same.
You're a motivation. Watching you from secondary school to becoming like this influence on the internet, and just, as I said earlier, going from this little potato to like, whoa, dude, like, damn, look at you.
I'm fucking hell, man.
Like, I would love to look into the mirror one morning and be you. Like, so, I remember what spiraled this diet of mine to begin, because I was in this very unhealthy cycle with my ex. She was a feeder, and I used to have about 5,000 calories a day. I used to have a big ass lunch, big ass dinner. My girlfriend used to come back from the night shift at work at 4 a.m. and bring me like a Big Mac or something. She worked at McDonald's. She'll bring me like 2 meals, and I'll wake up to eat, to go back to sleep, to wake up the next day to go to college. And I got massive. And when we broke up, no one else wanted me. Like, I was 27 stone. I was greasy. I was disgusting. My mental state was as low as it's been in a very long time. And then my friend David, I have this friend called David. He's an autistic fella. And I've got the patience to deal with him. And it bothers me seeing so many people disrespect him, not understanding his problems. But anyway, that's like not what we're talking about. He's a lovely bloke, but he doesn't know what no means. And he came up to me like, Cory, do you want a 1 kg bag of peanut M&Ms? And I said, no, because I'll eat them all in one go and I would hate myself.
Yeah.
So he bought it anyway. So no means.
Yeah.
So I had this 1 kg bag of M&Ms appear at my door. I ate it all in one day, and I did hate myself. That was 5 to 10,000 calories. Can't remember which one. That on top of the food I ate as well. And I looked in the mirror the next morning, and oh my God, I hated myself. I've got pictures, and I'll happily show you after this. So, I know what, I deleted them, so I have my phone.
Yeah.
It was me from about 24 stone to now. And I know I was heavier than 24 stone, but I didn't take pictures back then because I hated myself that much. But that's what really caused this big domino effect to get where I am today, is 1 kg bag of M&Ms.
1 kg bag of M&Ms.
I'll do it again.
So Eminem, the rapper, helped change your life, and M&M's, as in the sweet, helped change your life.
I've never seen it like that. But yeah.
That's a double entendre right there, in 2 meanings.
I should get a tattoo of like M&M's. I've already got the Hotline Miami 50 Blessings symbol, which I got while I was drunk at my dad's. I've got 2 stick men on my leg of my stepmom and dad.
Fucking hell. Man. It's... What... Man, like... It's crazy how we've both grown since secondary school to now, and if we saw our secondary school self, they wouldn't imagine us to be how we are right now. And I guess to top it all off, like, what advice would you, because I like to ask this at the end of every podcast, what advice would you give to those who are mentally struggling right now?
I have to go to the old faithful for that one. Just think of the future. These problems you're having today might not be a problem this time next week. They might be for a few years.
But they won't be forever.
But most likely, not forever. And the one thing I think about a lot is, I'm having problems today thinking about my family and my financial situation. Like, I ain't got a job or anything. I'm on benefits. And like my physical and mental state, these are my problems today. But in 10 years' time, my only problem's going to be, what am I going to pack my daughter for lunch today? Or, oh man, like, what is my son wearing for school today? And I can't wait for that. I can't wait for like my only problem being, oh yeah, my kid woke me up crying in the middle of the night. As weird as that is to sound, it just shows you've got somewhere. And that's what I think about, is the future. The sun will always rise tomorrow. And that's something I always think about. Every day's a new day, and you never know what's to expect. Like,
man, that is beautiful. That is very, very true and beautiful.
It is. Like, thank you.
True poet right here, man. Call me motherfucking Douglas. Come on.
Cornelius.
Shit. Man, I guess I just want to say, like, thank you so much for coming here and just sharing the story.
Thanks for having me, man.
Like,
when you messaged me, I had a feeling. I was like, have I been invited to the podcast? I was like, ooh.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, shit. Like, part of me was thinking to myself, shit, is he like, it's a lot to, provide for the show. And
I'm an open book about it. I like
these people will be fully... I can already sense that people are going to fucking love this episode. I can already sense
I'm so open about it, so I just want to normalize it. I want people, when they hear stories like mine, not to think, oh, he's lying for attention.
Yeah.
But to think...
To be inspired by it and just to...
He's still here today, why can't I be here tomorrow?
Exactly.
Like, there you go. That's a good
inspiration,
quote.
man. Like, man, a true inspiration. And I'd like to thank you for just keep pushing forward, because not only myself, but of course your friendship group, the people, like, we truly are. I mean, I can speak for the people here. We're truly inspired by your story, and man, we're just grateful for you to still be here. Like,
just thank you for being such an inspiration, man. Like,
I'm just vibing, man.
You are part of the reason I'm here, man.
For real, like, I'm just vibing, bro. Because we barely speak.
You're a fine example of someone just sprouting and growing into such a beautiful tree. Like, seeing you from secondary school to now, like, yeah, as you said, you would never have guessed it if you were to see on the street,
People don't recognise me from secondary school for the most part, actually.
The amount of people that walk past, I was like, wait, is that Azim?
Yeah. Man.
But nah, man.
It's like...
Thanks for having me. Like, it's an honour.
Likewise, man. And I do this shit for you, for the people, because like I said in the film, I'm trying to change the world, you know. As
You are.
insanely ambitious as it sounds, like, if I don't change the world, then who the fuck will?
Your video touched me, and one person at a time, and all it takes is to watch that video and to be touched, even if it just changes their day or the hour they're in. You've made a difference in this world. And your video did make a difference to me. So you have made a difference in this world.
Bless up. And the crazy thing is, I'm just getting started.
I'm well excited, man.
This year it'll be full on ready, and I can't wait to return in the obviously I'm technically back with the podcast, but in the Renaissance Super Saiyan mode, you know.
Me and my girlfriend have to sit and watch date night, man. Date night.
Man, it's gonna be fucking amazing. But Cory Douglas, Doogie, Cornelius, sexy motherfucker, thank you so much for coming on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or watching on IGTV, thank you so much for watching this incredible episode of the Renaissance podcast. What do you think of it? Did you like it? Any feedback? You want to hit up Cory? Like, do you have anything to plug? Or
not really. Just be safe, be good people, and have a good day, man. Like,
bless up. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, like, comment, share, all that good motherfucking shit. And I'll see you motherfuckers till the next one. Peace.
Hell yeah.
That was so